Okay, gang, this is part 3 of our right triangle trig series, and in this particular part we're going to actually do the solving of the trig equations. So let's go back to the example that we had in the previous lesson. In example 4, we were given this situation. Try to remember real quickly what equation you would write to solve for x and y. Okay, so x was a sine problem. Sine 38 equals x over 72. Y was a cosine problem. Okay, so now how do we solve these equations for x and for y? Alright, so for the first case, sine, to solve for x, what we need to do is get x by itself. We don't want it to be divided by 72. So we're going to multiply both sides by 72. And we get something that looks like this. And you're done. You just type this into your calculator, make sure you're in the right mode in degrees, and as long as you're typing it in correctly, you should get something that's about 44.33. Moving on to the cosine equation, we don't want y to be divided by 72, so we'll multiply both sides by 72, type that into our calculator, and we should get 56.74. Okay, well, we were fortunate in that particular example. Let's take a look at another example from the previous lesson. Can you tell me what the equation is to solve for x? Okay, cosine 58 equals 6.2 over x. In this particular case, the x is in the denominator. This one's a little bit trickier. Okay, so what you're supposed to do here is get x by itself by multiplying both sides by x. So you see that x cosine 58 is equal to 6.2. Then we have to divide both sides by cosine 58, and we're allowed to do that because cosine 58 is just a number. So just a number times x. So we do the opposite, which is divide. So we get x is equal to 6.2 over cosine 58. If we type that into our calculator correctly, we should get about 11.7. And in this, I only put one decimal because only one decimal was given in the original question. Okay, and here's our last example. This was also from the previous lesson. Can you give me an equation that solves for y? Okay, so the tangent of y is equal to 5 over 4. Well, how do we solve this? Again, we have to isolate y. Well, we have to eliminate the tangent by doing the opposite of tangent. Well, what is that? It's called inverse tangent. And we denote this with a little -1 to power symbol. So if we inverse tangent both sides, then on the left side we just get y. The tangent disappears. On the right side we get the inverse tangent of a fraction, 5 over 4. Please be sure to put that fraction in parentheses when you type it into your calculator. So it should be inverse tangent parentheses 5 divided by 4 close parentheses. And if you do that correctly, you should get about 51.34 degrees. Don't forget the degrees. It's a unit.